Alright, picture this. You wake up, grab your phone, check messages, scroll through your favorite app, maybe even ask an AI a weird question like, was the moon landing filmed on a soundstage? Now pause. None of that would be possible without the internet. But have you ever stopped to wonder how we got here? Most of us think the internet was just invented one day by a bunch of tech geniuses in Silicon Valley. But the real story? It's way messier, stranger, and more surprising than you might expect. So today, we're diving into the untold story of the internet's origins, the hidden players, the Cold War connections, the bureaucratic red tape, and the lucky accidents that shape the digital world you're using right now. The Cold War's invisible hand. The internet didn't begin as a tool for social networking or shopping online. It started as a military experiment. Back in the 1950s and 60s, the Cold War had the US and the Soviet Union locked in a tense technological standoff. After the Soviet launch of Sputnik in 1957, the US realized it needed to up its game in science and tech. So they created ARPA, the Advanced Research Projects Agency. ARPA wasn't trying to invent cat memes or YouTube. It was trying to figure out how to keep communication networks alive in case of a nuclear attack. If one part of the network was destroyed, how could messages still get through? Enter packet switching. Instead of sending entire messages through a single line, like a phone call, messages would be broken into chunks, or packets, sent through multiple routes, and reassembled at their destination. A decentralized system. Resilient. Anti-fragile. Built for survival. The birth of ARPANET. In 1969, ARPA launched ARPANET, the first real-world test of packet switching technology. The first message ever sent? Just the word. Login. Except the system crashed after the first two letters. So technically, the first message on the internet was LO. Appropriately cryptic, right? But ARPANET worked. Slowly, more universities joined the network: UCLA, Stanford, UC Santa Barbara, University of Utah. The goal? Share research. Share computing power. Talk to each other across great distances without relying on traditional phone lines. But here's what most people don't know: ARPANET was never meant to become the global internet. In fact, the government almost killed it multiple times due to budget cuts and lack of interest. It was academics and hackers who kept the spark alive. The rise of the networked society. By the 1970s and 80s, more networks began to spring up, each with their own rules and protocols. Then came a breakthrough, TCP/IP. Developed by Vint Cerf and Bob Kahn, TCP/IP was a universal language that let all these networks talk to each other. In 1983, ARPANET officially adopted it. This moment is often called the birthday of the modern internet. But even then, no one thought it would be mainstream. It was still mostly academics and defense researchers using the system. So what changed? A British invention that changed everything. Fast forward to the late 1980s. A British scientist named Tim Berners-Lee was working at CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research. He noticed that researchers from all over the world had trouble sharing information efficiently. So he proposed something simple: a system of documents linked together via hyperlinks. He called it the World Wide Web. His boss famously said it was vague, but exciting. By 1991, the first website was live. By 1993, the first graphical browser, Mosaic, made the web accessible to the masses. And that is when the internet transformed from a geeky research tool into a world-changing phenomenon. The hidden battles over control. But this growth didn't come without fights. Who would control domain names? Who would regulate access? Who would profit from this digital real estate boom? In the early 1990s, the US government handed some control to private entities like Network Solutions. For a time, registering a domain name was expensive, chaotic, and full of red tape. Then came ICANN, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. A nonprofit created in 1998 to oversee the domain name system globally. This was controversial. Some nations felt the US had too much control over a tool the whole world now depended on. The struggle between regulation, freedom, censorship, and profit continues to this day. The role of randomness. Here's something wild: many of the Internet's biggest breakthroughs came from accidents. The @ symbol in email? Picked randomly by programmer Ray Tomlinson. Google? Born from a university research project. Facebook? Started in a college dorm room as a way to rate student photos. Reddit, Twitter, TikTok, none of these were planned parts of some master strategy. The Internet grew through chaos. Through user creativity. Through unexpected uses of simple tools. In many ways, it evolved more like a living organism than a government program. The modern age, from open to algorithmic. The early Internet was idealistic. Open. Decentralized. But that began to change in the 2000s and 2010s. Tech giants emerged. Algorithms started to shape what we see. Data became currency. Privacy became elusive. Misinformation spread like wildfire. And yet, the core protocols of the Internet, TCP/IP, HTML, DNS, are still remarkably open. Anyone, anywhere, can build a site, post a thought, start a movement. That's the beauty and the danger of the web. Final thoughts. So what is the untold story of the Internet? It's that it wasn't inevitable. It wasn't neat. It wasn't even designed with the world we have today in mind. It was built to survive a nuclear war. Fueled by academic curiosity. Kept alive by geeks, rebels, and dreamers. And transformed by randomness, mistakes, and opportunity. The Internet you know today is the result of 1,000 tiny accidents, countless human decisions, and a never-ending tension between control and freedom. The next time you send a meme, stream a video, or ask a chatbot a question, remember, you're using a system born from fear, built by visionaries, and shaped by everyone who's ever logged on. And the story isn't over. Not by a long shot. Because here's the real twist. The Internet is still evolving. The choices we make today, about regulation, decentralization, AI integration, digital rights, and online behavior, will shape what it becomes tomorrow. Will it remain a place of free expression? Or become increasingly fenced in by corporate and political interests? Will it unite us? Or divide us further? That's not up to the people who invented it. That's up to us. Every tweet, every upload, every line of code adds to its legacy. We're not just users, we're participants in the next chapter of a living, breathing digital experiment. So let's build it wisely. Let's keep it weird. And let's remember where it all began. If this deep dive into the Internet's strange backstory sparked your curiosity, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. What part of the Internet's origin surprised you the most? Until next time, keep asking questions, keep exploring, and remember, the web may be virtual, but the impact is very, very real.